Hello and welcome back to the Forgotten City. We just talked to Sentius, I think was his name. Sentius. And we found out about the Golden Rule. We kind of learned about the general gist of things. And now we have to find out who is the sinner. And for that, I need to investigate. Now, if I steal that, I mean, obviously that would be a sin, right? But it's good.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Uh-oh. Hold send it back to the shrine. Okay. I can't run.
What did you idiots do?
Okay, so that... Okay. Go to the shrine. Okay, so I messed things up. But at least I now know that I am included in this. So if I sin, everyone will get punished. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Tried something out. Okay, we're back in the city.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
I'm Mako. We've had this conversation before.
I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life.
Your name is Galerius, and you're about to offer to take me to see Sentius, so he can tell me about the Golden Rule.
Oh, Bacchus, how much did I drink last night? Sorry to have bothered you.
No problem.
Oh,
Have to
and
go.
since you seem to be in a hurry, you should try out this device I made. Worked real hard on it.
Oh, what is he giving us? What's this? Rudimentary wooden zip handlebar.
Just attach the pulley to the rope over the lake and hang on to the handles. If it works, it'll be faster than walking.
Oh.
And if it doesn't work, worst thing that
Okay.
can happen is you'll take a swim in the lake. I haven't quite summoned the courage to test it myself. But don't worry, it's completely safe. Probably.
Thanks.
All
I'll be
right.
going now.
See you around.
Okay, interesting. Oh, so I can zip line over there. Let's try it out. Quite the inventor, I'd say. Was this one here before? This place?
On your best behavior, I trust?
Of course. Now, I first want to go back to Sentius and see what he has to say now that we did the loop-de-loop.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
I'm Akon. We had this conversation before.
We have? Wait, if I understand correctly, someone is about to break the Golden Rule, forcing me to create a portal in time to bring you here? I must have entrusted you with figuring out who the culprit is. Only, I assume we failed, and you had to start over. Is that about right? If so, what happened?
I broke it. Let's be honest.
Broke it. Why in Pluto's name would you do that?
Just wanted to see what would happen.
You just wanted... What is wrong with you? Do you fancy yourself as mortar, holding the threads of our fate in your hands? Look, it's unfortunate, but all that matters now is that you make use of what you've learned and gathered, and do better next time. Now, I assume you've sought me out again for a reason.
Yeah. Let's ask some more questions. Can we talk about what's going to break the... I think we have. I was hoping to ask you some questions about my investigation. Okay, so that we already did.
Was there something else you wanted to discuss?
What about the golden rule?
Of course. What is it?
Never mind.
Why then did you
don't know
say-
who it is.
It doesn't matter. It looks like you'll have to continue your investigation. Now, was there anything else you wanted to ask?
What's your story?
Sextus Sentius Imperiosus is my name, though magistrate is the proper way to address me. Before I wound up here, I was a decurion in the cavalry of Imperial Rome, helping protect civilization from the barbarians.
What's a decurion?
It's a cavalry officer. I had 30 men under my command. This was my uniform.
Why are you still wearing it?
As magistrate, I usually wear a toga, but today I may need to survive long enough to create the portal for you, so it seemed prudent.
Fair enough. How did you end up here?
My men and I were at the Emporium in Rome as honor guard for a visiting dignitary arriving upriver by barge. Now, the port is usually bustling, but just as our guests arrived, waves of people began running toward the river from streets and alleyways in every direction. They were trying to escape a terrible fire. Unfortunately, the crowd sent my horse into a panic, and I remember it losing its footing by the water's edge. The next thing I knew, I was waking up on a riverbank not far from here in the company of some stranger. I went looking for my horse and discovered that lonely temple. You can probably figure out the rest.
I wonder if this is something like this whole city is more like a purgatory. How did you come to be magistrate?
I was elected 7 months ago, uncontested because
Like
of my
a purgatory
command
for
experience.
sinners
Since
specifically?
then, there's been growing agitation for another election. They're supposed to be annual, but I agreed to hold it sooner, hoping it would placate my constituents. Unfortunately, it just seems to have emboldened certain elements instead.
Okay.
Very well.
What do you think about the golden rule?
I've had plenty of time to think about it. Let me see if I can sum up my thoughts. I've always considered my guiding star to be the well-being of the Roman people. Our survival and prosperity have always hinged upon honoring the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. Give the gods what they want and we all prosper. Dishonor them and we all die. It's as simple as that. The real enemy in this place is not the golden rule, but human failings. The temptation to slide into degeneracy, greed, and hubris. I trust that answers your question.
I just had a weird thought. And I don't know how that popped into my head, honestly. But I just thought, what if Karen, the lady who found us at the riverbank, kind of like he was found on a riverbank, is actually Scintilla? Is that possible? I don't know. You know way out of here?
If I did, I'd have led these people out of here already.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll be waiting here for news.
You do so, but I saw that note from Scintilla.
You're wasting your time.
Oh, I would never do that. Okay. Snoop around in his possessions. Scintilla to Sentius. May Jupiter Optimus Maximus continue to protect and guide you. Thank you for making me your daughter and for the lovely birthday pendant. I promise will wear it. I promise I will wear it always. I feel so safe and fortunate to have you as my father and Sentia as my sister. I sense you've been feeling apprehensive about the election next month, but if you can just show them the strong and dependable man I know you to be, you will be re-elected. I'm sure of it. Okay, I like that there's a little summary. I will try to read them as a whole, as long as it's not like a 20-page document, but... Seems to be nothing else here. A small household shrine where ancient Romans offered daily prayers for protection. Okay, Lorarium. Never heard of that. Okay.
Ugh, this place has become a thoroughfare.
Let's talk to her again.
Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
You know, some people say it's the creation of an all-seeing god who's watching everything we do. But what kind of an awful, incompetent god would let my sister go missing on his or her watch?
Good question. A question?
Did you hear that? Curse you, you coward! Where is my sister? What do you have to say for yourself? No response. Nothing. That's what I thought.
So, she seems genuinely angry about her sister disappearing. Or at least we know blasphemy doesn't break the Golden Rule.
I'm telling you, this mysterious god of ours has to be asleep on the job. Either that, or, like people are saying, it really is just a children's fable my father is exploiting to frighten us into behaving.
That's interesting. It's definitely real.
Oh, and I suppose I'll just have to take the word of a know-nothing barbarian who just arrived, will I?
Well, you know, way out of here. I want to
What
see if
is
I
it
can
with you
explore
people?
other...
You heard the rumor that my
conversation
little sister escaped, and
points.
figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone.
Can I help?
I don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the harpies?
Your father didn't mention any of this when I spoke to him. Any idea why?
That doesn't surprise me. To him, it was like a prize cow wandering off from its paddock. He's upset, of course, but he says he's too busy with the election to help look for her. So he's letting Horatius do the heavy lifting.
Oh, so he's the one.
Some
looking
good
for
that's done.
Maybe Horatius is the lover. I mean, that would be pretty good for the whole thing, right?
Why? Because I'm on this couch and not pacing about the villa, wasting energy.
He could pretend to look for her
I
while
hope you're
she
not insinuating I'm
is hiding
somehow
in a-
pleased with her
in a-
disappearance.
hiding spot. I think you know more. You know something you're not telling me.
Ugh, you're awful. Get out of my villa and never speak to me again.
Okay, Santio. We'll probably speak to you again, but you won't remember it. Ha ha! All the times have turned. Can, but I don't want to. Alright, do we have anything here? Oop. Shovel. Roman fire shovel made out of bronze. Smells like ash. Stove. It's no doubt unpleasant cooking with such poor ventilation, but Romans probably regard that as the servant's problem. I mean, yeah, probably. Anything else up here? Oh, there's the shovel. I don't know how much time I have in these loops. I won't steal.
That's my room. Leave before I call Horatius.
Sorry. Oh. I wonder how I could get into the room. She seems to be looking into that direction the entire time. Maybe if I sneak. Dear Diary, today my father suggested...
Horatius, there's a horrid barbarian sneaking around in our villa.
I would never. Where is he? Coming? There's that guy. Sentius. Really, just yell. Today my father suggested I write a diary as a way of keeping
The
myself...
many shall suffer for the
He
sins
was the
of
son
the
and
one.
devastated the spirit of my sister. As a dutiful daughter, of course, I shall oblige the following pages contain my innermost secret. Such believes everyone is entitled to their secrets. Bust. Sculpture of the Greek god of war. Small vial containing rudimentary perfume from flowers and oil. Don't want to be too... Brass jar containing some kind of makeup. Brass mirror. Brass has been polished into rudiment. Don't want to take too long. I don't know if anything else has. Let's take some gold. Just in case. So I don't know what exactly the sin was here. Didn't know that snooping is a sin. Ouch. It actually hurt me. Okay. So snooping. I'm just kind of figuring out what the boundaries are. What I can get away with and what not. So obviously, in this case, I'm still hurt though. That's not good. Do I now still have the gold? I do still have the gold in my inventory. That is interesting.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and why you look like you've just taken on a gladiator and lost?
I'm Marco. We've had this conversation before.
I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life.
Okay.
Oh, Bacchus, how much did I drink last night?
He was the one
sorry
warning
to have
us,
bothered you.
though, in the very beginning. Seemed to have known more than he let on.
Of course. What did you want to know?
Let's talk to him some more. What's your story?
Well, it's a long one and kind of sad, but I don't mind telling it.
I have time.
I'm a farmer. Always have been. I grew up in a small village in Britannia, Camulodunum, with my parents and two little sisters. Lovely part of the world. One day, when I was about 20, my father and I were in the top paddock, loading our cart, when some Roman legionaries came along, demanding produce for their men. My father told me to run into the house for his axe, and so I did. Sprinted so fast I almost threw up, but by the time I got back, he was bleeding out on the ground, and our cart was empty. That was my first encounter with the legions. My mother died of a broken heart soon after, and things went downhill from there. I took over the farmstead, but I was young, and it was a struggle. More raiding started before too long. We'd come outside in the morning to find animals missing, our stores pillaged. These Legion thugs just took whatever they wanted. One night, when my sisters and I had nothing left to steal, there was a knock at the door. I knew who they were, and what they wanted. I got my father's old axe, pulled the door open real quick, and before that soldier knew it, split his face right down the middle. But there were more of them. I never saw how many, because the next thing I knew, I was waking up with a mouth full of dirt and lungs full of smoke. My home was reduced to ash. My sisters, dead. And they left me alive to see what they'd done. Still burns whenever I think about it.
Very sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
That's a horrible
well,
story.
I wasn't the only one this happened to. It wasn't long before Boudica led thousands of Britons in a rebellion against the Romans. Unfortunately, there were just too many of them. And those of us who survived, they enslaved. So, then I found myself being transported all the way to Rome to be sold to the highest bidder. I spent a few years working for my new master, learning the Romans' ways, Romanized my name and everything. Tried to escape a couple of times, but they always found me, and I'd just end up right back where I was. I'd probably still be there too, if it wasn't for the stampedes breaking out. You see, about 7 months ago, an enormous fire broke out in Rome. Everybody was running down toward the river, screaming and shouting. I'd never seen anything like it. Human beings acting like cattle. I got swept up with them somehow, and the rest is a blur. The next thing I knew, some stranger was dragging me out of a river. Stumbled across this place and started my life over again.
Pain. So again, the stranger pulling someone out of the river. I wonder if that is Karen. Maybe she is that goddess whose name I forgot. I'm glad things worked out in the end.
That's what I thought too, for a while. But it seems the gods aren't done tormenting me yet. See, I finally had my own farm again, safe from the grasping hands of the Romans. Or so I thought. Until Sentius the Decurion demanded I hand over all my produce. It's for the good of us all, he says. Only he takes the best bits for himself, of course. He even told me if I refuse his demands, I'll break the golden rule. I'm not sure I believe him, but then, what if he's right?
So he is definitely
it turns out our
using
dear
the
old
golden
magistrate
rule
is no better than the legion
as leverage
who took
against
everything
people.
from me. I'm right back where I began. But don't you worry, Nemesis is waiting, and he'll get his one day. He'll get his. Forget I said that last part, will you? I get carried away sometimes.
Sure.
Thanks, friend. I knew I liked you. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Was there something else you wanted to talk about?
Do you know a way out of here?
Well, as much as I'd love to get out of here, the harvest's always more fruitful in another man's field, isn't it? But Scintilla, Sentius's daughter, went missing a few weeks back. Could be she found a way out. If anyone knows for sure, it'll be her sister, Sentia. But she'd never tell the likes of me.
What do you think about the golden rule?
Oh, I don't give it much thought these days. I mean, everybody here's got their own view about what we need to do to survive. But I say, let's spend less time arguing about what it means to be good and just get on with it, you know?
Now, what do you think about the election?
I can't see how I could vote for either candidate. I don't like Sentius much, but Malleolus is almost as bad. Even I could do a better job. Me, a farmer. And I've never given a speech or put on a toga in my life.
Okay.
All right. See you around.
So, it seems like Sentius is definitely using the golden rule to his advantage as well, to using it as leverage against the people. For example, Galerius, right? Which is interesting. Seems questionable, if you ask me. Oh man. There's so many golden people here already. I don't know what that means. Looks like someone has been hard at work on a prototype zipline. Oh, that is probably where Galerius. Poem by Galerius. My life has been torturous as the 7 labors of Hercules. Orphaned, defeated, and enslaved, yet I would suffer it all again gladly, because each loss, wound, and tragedy brought me to you. Radiant as Rome's sacred flame, your bright warmth nourishes my soul. I know I can never touch you any more than hold Vesta's flame, but to watch and love you from afar, bathing in your glow, is enough. Love poem. Interesting. Wonder if he is connected to Centilla. Maybe he was the lover. Potentially. Could be.
Cerberus lifts his triple head and lets out his threefold graying.
Olivia was the older woman. Stone carving. A
They
phallic
follow their trails,
charm thought by the Romans to
imitating
have
their
divine
previous
protective
lives, but
properties.
they are ignorant.
Sure, it has some properties. Rufius. We haven't met Rufius yet. So I won't check that out yet, because since I don't know who Rufius is, I probably will just forget what it means. Kabash. Interesting. Like, I wonder why there are golden statues of the sinning of a single person causes everyone. A ceramic bowl full of urine, which ancient Romans used because of its ammonia content to wash and bleach their clothes.
Beautiful.
Aurelia, let's talk to her.
Ah, you're here. I'm so glad you decided to visit. I'm Aurelia, and I hope I'm not being too forward, but the moment I laid eyes on you, I was intrigued.
Okay.
There's a light in your eyes I've never seen before, a certain learning and sophistication.
And you are as charming as you are beautiful.
Coming on a bit strong, don't you think?
What? You came on to me.
I take back what I said. Suddenly, I don't find you so intriguing anymore.
Okay.
Let's just forget that ever happened, so we can at least do business. So, what brings you to my tavern?
Okay. That's rough. What's your story?
Let it go. Nothing's going to happen between us.
Okay. Do you know a way out of here?
You know, normally, I'd expect you to buy me a drink before asking if I want to get out of here.
That's cute, but seriously, do you know a way out?
Straight to business, huh? I can work with that. As a matter of fact, I do know a way out. I'm happy to tell you all about it, but this is valuable information we're talking about, and I don't just give it out like some cheap oracle. So, how badly do you want it? Is it worth, say, 1,000 denarii to you?
If you have a way out, why haven't you used it yourself?
Simple. It's a one-way trip, and I'm not ready to go just yet. I like my life here. One day, maybe, but not now.
Isn't it kind of unethical to keep all these people trapped in here knowing there's a way out?
I think of it this way. I have something of value, and I'm willing to share it for a price. That's not unethical. That's just good business. Now, do you want it or not?
How do I know this isn't a scam?
If I took your money without giving you what I promised, I'd be breaking the golden rule, wouldn't I? And I have no interest in doing that.
Fair enough. Tell me more about what I'd be buying.
Well, I can't tell you too much, or you'd figure it out for yourself. But I promise you, you'll never have to spend another hour in this city ever again.
I feel like she's such a smooth talker that she's only telling us a half-truth, right? Where it's like, I don't know.
What's the matter?
If
Can't
you jump
afford
from
it? Well, perhaps you could take
a
out a
mountain.
loan.
I'm not sure if
I
suicide would count
understand
as a sin,
Malleolus has
but,
lent money to others on occasion.
but it seems like there's definitely more to it. What do you think about the golden rule?
I just try not to think about it. Drink helps with that. As the saying goes, to drink is human, so we drink.
Heard any interesting gossip?
Certainly. For 10 denarii.
Sure. Here we
Have
go.
you met Livia? She used to do my hair until one day she just snapped. This place has that effect on people. Now she just stands around, caked in filth, muttering nonsense to herself. It's a real shame. Now I have to do my own hair.
Here's another test.
I hear that if Malleolus is elected, he's gonna throw a small festival to celebrate, with entertainment and everything. Can't wait to find out what it is.
That could be where
Whatever
the
you
sinning
like.
happens, right? Like a big festival.
All right, see ya.
Okay, we weren't able to woo her, but let the buyer beware. Warning. Oh, understandable.
You stay away from my money.
Didn't want your money, but fair enough. There's another inscription there. The only way out is whoever wrote this was interrupted, perhaps tragically. So, I wonder, I feel like everything almost leads back to Scintilla, right? It's a female voice coming from these statues. I wonder if her disappearance is connected to this all.
The 49 melodies fetch again with incessant labor the water they have lost.
Let's talk to Livia.
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls. But it does not notice the crowds that come.
What's your story?
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd the forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths. Others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives.
I'm sorry, I have no idea what that means.
They never do.
Do you know any way out of here?
There is only a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions.
I see. What do you think about the Golden Rule?
The bloodless shadows. This is their punishment.
See, that kind of thing leads me even further to believe that this whole place is almost like a purgatory for people who died in like real Rome, of the real Roman Empire, maybe who have sinned in some way and then get here into a place where they cannot sin or their soul will be destroyed or something like that. Okay.
The newly arrived are ignorant of the road before them.
Yeah, try to not be ignorant. Galerius for magistrate, countered by I would rather drink Aurelia's special brew. I ask about the special brew,
The
maybe?
49 melodies fetch again with incessant labor.
Try to help.
I
one
love
they
your
have
clothes. So, I'll do us all a favour and drink hemlock cap at murder.
Oh. Hey, she's really pissed off. Training dummy. Looks like Domitius has been using this to train. I wonder what he's been training for. Ceramic bowl. May the gods be kinder to you than they were to us, String. What does this lead? Old chest. Oh. Fetch arrow, bottle of wine. Last bottle of wine in the city. Okay. Hidden chest then. Oh. Okay. Not sure where this leads, but I want to find out. Oh. That one moved. It kind of looks... That one move. I hate that it moved. Hate that so much. Hate it. Oh, I can jump. I didn't even know that. There's something. More denarius. Actually get quite a bit of money here. I have a feeling I won't be able to get up there. It's a different way to get there, but good to know that there is a chest. There's another golden boy. Luckily he doesn't move his head again. The one on top. Not that creepy golden statues are bad enough. No, they also whisper, but also he watches through their eyes. The goose. Honk. That's funny. That's a funny little goose eggs. A bunch of goose eggs laid by the city's goose. Can I take them? Okay. Okay. Goose eggs. I guess it will explicitly warn me if I steal something, so. Oh, it's Galerius. Okay.
Ah, it's you again. Hope you're settling in, friend.
But this is a slow farm.
What's on your mind?
Ever thought about running for magistrate yourself?
I've bounced the idea around once or twice, mainly as a way of getting Dooley set free. God knows Sentius is never going to do it. But from what I hear, Malleolus has the election stitched up. Nobody's going to take him on and win. And maybe that's not such a bad thing. I mean, he talks a lot about freedom, so I'm hoping if he's elected, he'll release Dooley from his cell. And that's good enough for me.
Who's Dooley? Why is Dooley in a cell?
Because Sentius put him there. Poor Dooley was just wandering around looking for some imaginary treasure. Now a magistrate accused him of being a thief. It's nonsense, of course. Dooley's the most harmless man you'll ever meet. But Sentius really has it in for him, for some reason. Gladly.
Interesting.
All right. See you around.
Good to know. Not quite sure how that helps us, but good to know. Okay. Also, like, wandering around like this helps me a little bit, getting familiar with the town.
Are they?
Are they? Oh, she's now not in the place she was previously at. Everyone's entitled to their secrets. You surely got mad when I looked at her secrets. Oh, Santilla's chest. I will not steal that. Ink jar. Ceramic ink jar. The ink appears to be made from soot and water. Brass mirror. Rudimentary mirror, which has been used for applying makeup. Oil. Anything else? Metal jar. Brass jar. Just cosmetic appliances.
Oh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here.
I
What
just
do you
wonder if she has
want?
something new to say.
I trust
not-
you can see yourself out.
And
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your...
we already know that.
We have? I must... Is that a...
We had this conversation too, and I'm in a hurry.
Seems rather brash, but all right.
Okay, nothing else.
Thank you.
For now. Someone is doing push-ups. Is that the same guy that who... Stranger, let's talk to him. Who has the training dummy?
Malleolus isn't receiving visitors at the moment, it being election day.
What's your story?
Her name's Domitius. You want to get to
think so.
Malleolus, you go through me.
I'd like to meet Malleolus.
Too bad. He's busy. Unless... No. You don't look like you could afford it.
For what?
I'm glad you asked. See, he's a busy man, and this is an important day. He'll be inside practicing his victory speech for tonight. Left me strict instructions he doesn't want to be disturbed. So if you want to see him, I'll need something valuable in return.
Okay. Alright. Isn't soliciting bribes a sin?
Bribe? That's such an ugly word. What I'm looking for is more of a tribute to me, your soon-to-be patron.
Okay, what do you want?
Dunno. Something good.
See what I can do.
Just make it good.
Not sure if I want to pay him just yet. You know a way out of here?
When Malleolus wins the election, yeah? This place will change. You won't even want to leave. You'll see.
Okay, what do you think about the golden rule?
I think it's gone on long enough, and Malleolus is going to put an end to it once he's elected.
How is he going to do that?
He's going to announce it in his victory speech. Just you wait and see.
Why can't you tell me now?
'Cause if I tell you, and it gets out, it'll give old man Sentius a chance to interfere in our plans. And we can't have that.
Sounds great, can I
We've
help?
already lined up the votes he needs to win. Just stay out of our way, and we won't have a problem.
Okay, who are you going to vote for?
Malleolus, of course. If old man Sentius can't even protect his own daughter, how can we trust him to protect us?
Okay,
Whatever.
interesting.
Just remember,
So,
I'll be
Malleolus
watching.
seems to have a plan in place. Sanchez and Malleolus, same excrement, different smell. Okay. Political commentary here. What's this?
Hey, you're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you?
Yes, why?
Nobody's told you about Hannibal? Ugh, why do I have to do everything round here? So,
Who's
there was this
Hannibal?
guy called Hannibal, right? Funny accent. Used to go down into the cisterns looking for junk he could clean up and sell. One day, a few weeks back, he comes out and tells me the cisterns are haunted. Said he could hear spirits wailing. Of course, nobody believed him, because who trusts a Carthaginian, right? Anyway, a few days later, he goes back in. And hours go by, and he hasn't come back out, yeah? So I go down after him, and it's dark. But in the distance, I can just make out his body, sprawled out on the ground. And hunched over him was something that made my blood run cold. No word of a lie. I saw a creature. Like the corpse of a man who'd been flayed. And it was eating Hannibal.
What did you do?
What any sane person would have done. I legged it out of there and put a sign at the door to warn the others.
It was a great story, but I'm still going down there.
Without a weapon? Well, it's your funeral.
Okay. It seems to be a pretty clear warning, though, so I'm not sure if I want to do that. Whose place did we enter here? Aquita. Ink jar. More ink jars. Hello? I didn't want to break in.
I speak with their tongues.
Clearly do, and I hate it. That feels like something I should be able to read. Octavia. Note to Octavia. An anonymous friend to Octavia, may the Lord bless and keep you. I'm sorry I could not risk discussing this with you in person, but if I am right, then you are a believer like me. You may not be able to worship openly here, but know that you are not alone. If you ever feel like you need somewhere to pray, there's a special place waiting for you deep in the caves behind the theater. Turn right at the first fork and again second. Again at the second, okay. Interesting. And it... oh, it does steal. Okay. Thought it doesn't say steal for that money, but it only does when you hover over it. Okay. Interesting. Hope I will remember that. Be nobody here. I'm not sure if I'm trespassing, but sculpture of Minerva, the Roman goddess of strategy. Okay. A pretty good look from here. Oh, someone is entering. Oh, there. Hey. Stranger.
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
What's your story?
Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality
she's a
or
priestess,
courtesy
okay.
ask, "What is your story?"
Sorry, what should I have done?
The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. She
seems nice.
Refreshing change.
How did you end up here?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
A young woman named Karen dragged me out of a river, unconscious, and sent me in here.
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you?
It carries negative connotations where I'm from.
Why is that?
Because of memes.
The memes? What are the memes?
A meme is a small image you share with other people. They've become a bit like their own language.
So, a bit like Egyptian hieroglyphs then?
Yeah, something like that.
So your people make hieroglyphics depicting this accursed character, the one they call Karen. I wonder if... No.
What were you going to say?
I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice anything.
Yeah, I suspected as much. You are being a bit coy.
I know. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
I may already have noticed the pattern.
You have? Then what is it?
Some people mentioned an encounter with a stranger on a riverbank.
Yes, I also had such an encounter. What else?
Oh, that's all I noticed.
There are definitely some common threads there. But I think we'll need at least a few to ensure we're not just seeing coincidences. Keep asking people how they wound up here. I don't want us to rush to any conclusions yet. Livia's fate weighs heavily on my mind and dictates we should be sure. Yes, you should ask the others first.
Do you know a way out of here?
I don't, I'm afraid. It seems to me we're exiled here until the gods judge us, one way or another.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I'm quite sure it's the work of the gods, which is strange because they've never been particularly concerned with our misdeeds, as long as we've kept the peace of the gods. We asked for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise, wine, incense, or animals. But here, it seems they require much more of us. I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent tale from our great poet Ovid in his epic Metamorphoses. Would you like to hear it? It is rather long.
I would love to hear it.
Wonderful. It goes like this. Baucis and Philemon were an old married couple living a humble life in a small town. One night, the town gets a visit from a couple of vagrants. They go from door to door, asking for a place to stay the night. Of course, being vagrants, they're turned away sharply from house after house, 1,000 in all, until finally they come to the little cottage where Baucis and Philemon lived. Now, the kind old couple had very little to offer, but nevertheless, they invite these strangers into their house and offer them food, wine, and a place to stay. Immediately, the guests make themselves at home. They begin gulping down the old couple's wine, so much so that Baucis, the old lady, begins to worry they're going to run out. And then she notices something strange. Her wine pitcher keeps refilling itself, as if by magic. Realizing only a select few possess such powers, says to her husband, Philemon, "I think these men are gods in disguise." Immediately, the couple begins apologizing for offering such coarse wine, and the vagrants metamorphosize and reveal themselves to be Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Mercury, the trickster god. They confide they didn't mind the meager offerings. They were just pleased that someone in the town offered them hospitality. Then Jupiter says to them, "You have passed our test, but everyone else in this city failed, so we are going to destroy this place and everyone in it, except you, who we will grant a wish." So old Baucis and Philemon escape up into the mountains safely, and they receive their wish, which is for eternity together. Meanwhile, Jupiter carries through with his threat and wipes that city off the map. Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the reciprocal obligations owed between hosts and guests. But I like to think it's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves.
It is quite interesting. Or perhaps it's that the gods might kill you at any moment for failing their test, and they don't even have to tell you what the rules are. I think I agree with her.
I'm pleased to hear it.
What's the status of the election?
It must be completed by dusk. just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Malleolus, the challenger. Why do you ask?
Who's allowed to vote?
All of the male citizens who are willing and able to attend, unless they're running, of course.
The woman can't vote?
That's just the way it's always been, I'm afraid. It never sat right with me, either. There are some women who can vote, Vestal priestesses like myself, but in this case, given my role overseeing the election, I've decided to abstain. I can't allow the perception that I'm being anything but fair and independent, but if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome.
She seems
of an
so
election.
nice that she becomes suspicious. Such as?
By using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of course.
So what's your role in the election?
I'm responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed.
Can I nominate another candidate?
You can, assuming they're eligible and willing to accept the nomination.
Can we start the election now?
As I said, I'm planning to hold it before dusk, but I suppose I could hold it sooner, if there's a good reason.
Let's keep that in mind, that is an option. I just don't want to do it now. Been asking.
And did you notice anything?
Anything else?
Pattern? There are keep
So I have to ask.
Olivia's fate weighs. Come back to me once you've acquainted yourself with the rest of our neighbors.
All right, that was very interesting. She seems nice. What? The priestess. Ah! Voices. Drives me crazy. But that was very interesting. Still doing push-ups. She seems very nice, like I said, but to a degree where... Oh, that is interesting. Actually go around here. There's another zip line as well. Okay. I think this is a good time to take a break, and then we will return to the Forgotten City and see if we can find the sinner and stop them from sinning. And I still don't know what's going to happen, like what, like when time will trigger. But we'll see. Thank you all for watching today's episode of The Forgotten City. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give the video a like. Maybe consider subscribing to the channel. Share the video with friends, family, and the people on the internet. That all helps me out a whole bunch and will bring you more content in the future. If you want to go above and beyond, you can check out the Patreon link down below. And I will be back with more The Forgotten City very soon. Until then, have a great time.